Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Uh, we are into chapter 8 and the verses 4, 8, 4. So, very briefly, devotees, we can look at what is happening so far. Here, the title of the chapter is Attaining the Supreme, very aptly titled. And then Arjuna has asked, after a long time, Arjuna has been silent throughout the chapter 7. He has asked almost 8 questions in 2 verses, 8, 1 and 2. What is Adibhutam? What is Adidaivatam? What is Adiyajna? What is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? So a lot of questions totally about 8, and also very important question about Prayana Kale. What is the last, at the time of we leaving our body, what should be our move? How can we remember Krishna? So Krishna is going to spend quite a bit of time on that particular Prayana Kale, but he is also right now answering one by one. Here we saw he talked about the Brahman, how all the transcendental, the Adhyatman. He mentioned that it is the self, and how the material bodies, Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Kara, Visarga, how the creation. The material and what is karma. Normally, karma is considered as a fruitive activities. There are mainly 3 types of karma: karma, vikarma, akarma. Vikarma means one acting against the instruction, Vedic instruction, especially Krishna's instruction. Veda and Krishna are one and the same. And akarma, meaning in a very plain literal sense, it means no action. Actually, that's not the Vedic understanding. The Vedic understanding is that you do everything, but do it in such a way that it does not create any karma. That is what is akarma. Otherwise, normally akarma means, some people would think that akarma, Krishna is saying akarma. That means I'm not going to work. He already explained very nicely in chapter 2. Karmanya ivadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phale heturbhut mata sangastu akarmani. Meaning, don't just be engaged, attached to non-activity also. There are so many religion, belief, philosophers, they would say that I'm not going to act. I'll just seclude myself, leave everything, I'll just meditate or, get secluded as much as I can. Seclusion is somewhat required, but not so much of physical. Devotees will be living in the most crowded area, but at the same time, mind engaged in Krishna. Like a doctor, he would enter a hospital. The hospital is normally, filled with people with a lot of, diseases, physical, emotional, lot of things going on. But doctor does not get affected. He may be spending 12, 13, 14 hours inside the hospital room, but he comes out very perfect. He, in fact, treats them. So devotees like that, that even though because Krishna is never, he has already established the fact that karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga is even far superior than sannyasa, right? So it is what we are, most of us have that opportunity to be engaged in that karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga, nishkama kama yoga. So Krishna is going to explain little more on this. Where is this 8.3, right? So let's go to 8.4. In this one, he's going to very specifically talk about 3 things: Adi Bhutam, Adi Daivatam, and Adi Yajna. So let us read and see what Krishna is saying. Devotees, why not we read this?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can do it.
Sure.
Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, text 4. Adi Bhutam Saro Bhava Purusas Chadi Daivatam Adi Yagnoham Evat Vatra Dehi Deha Bratambara. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Very nice, Mataji. Maybe two more devotees. One Prabhu, one Mataji. Sure.
अधिभूतं क्षरो भाव पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञो हमेवात्र देहे देहभृताम्बर. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. One more devotees, maybe.
Yeah, I can read.
Sure.
Adibhutam Sharo Bhava Purushachadi Advaitam Adiyagnoham Evitra Deha Bratam Vara.
Very nice, Prabhuji. So, Adibhutam Sharobhava Purushascha Adidaivatam. Purushascha Adidaivatam. So, who can read the synonym and translation?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Shall I read Prabhuji?
Oh, Prabhu, you are back in Florida.
Yes, Prabhuji, with your blessings, all our Tampa ISKCON devotees' blessings.
It's all Krishna's arrangement, Prabhu. We are very glad you are here. Please
Thank
go
you,
ahead, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Adi Bhutam, the physical manifestation, Ksharaha, constantly changing, Bhavaha, nature, Purushaha, the universal form, including all the demigods like the sun and moon. Cha and Ka Abhidvaitam called Adi Daiva Adi Yajnaha, the super soul. Aham, I, Krishna, Eva, certainly, Atra, in this, Dehe, body, Dehe, Brutam, of the embodied, Varah, O best. Translation, purport. Abhayacharana Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Abhibhuta, the material manifestation, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called Adi Deva, and I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yajna, the Lord of sacrifice. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhuji.
you.
Devotees, there are Krishna is very directly addressing three things. Adibhutam, this is not Dvaivatam, this is Daivatam. We should not get confused with Dvaita philosophy. This is in this particular verse, it's called Daivatam. Adi, Daivatam, Adi Yajna. Three things. Adibhutam, Adi Daivatam, Adi Yajna. So let us read the purport, devotees. Who can read the purport? I think one devotee can read.
I can read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very good.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle, and then they vanish. This physical nature is called Adi Bhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adi Daivata. And present in the body, along with the individual soul, is the super soul. A plenary representation of Lord Krishna. The super soul is called the Paramatma or Adi Yagna and is situated in the heart. The word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is not different from him. The super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead seated beside the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various types of consciousness. The supersoul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witnesses his activities. The functions of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna consciousness devotee engaged in transcendental service of the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord, called Adi Daivata, is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as a supersoul. The neophyte is advised to contemplate the universal form or Virat Purusha, whose legs are considered the lower planets, whose eyes are considered the sun and moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system. So here, as Prabhuji explained, there are three terms we need to remember. One is Adi Bhuta, and second is Adi Daivata, and the third one is Adi Yagna. So Adi Bhuta is the material nature, the changing, the physical nature and the material bodies, the material manifestation, which is changing continuously. So birth, death, disease and old age, and then vanquish. So this is our system. It will go on in the material manifestation, and which is temporary. That is why it's called Adi Bhuta. And then Adi Daivata is Krishna's plenary portions and Krishna's universal form, which includes all the demigods, different planets, and his creation also in this natural creation, everything included in that stage, and it's called Adi Daivata. And then Adi Yagna is the super soul, the supreme Lord, the absolute truth. He is the Lord of sacrifice. That's what it's called, Adi Yagna. He is always there in our heart, the super soul. And the super soul always looking at the soul's activities. As we read in chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, where they described about two birds, and Prabhupada described about two birds. So one bird is facing his he is facing towards the other end, and the another bird is continuously watching that bird. But that bird doesn't know that someone is watching him or her. So because the bird which is constantly watching the other bird is the super soul, and that bird is the soul, so we don't know our super soul always watching us, residing in our heart, but he gave us a free will. So that's why we are doing in this material world, like forgetting Krishna and want to enjoy ourselves, because our relationship with our super soul, the supreme Lord, has lost. That's why we are here in this material world. So that's what Prabhupada is explaining here. But for the neophyte who is like aspiring devotees, and like me, that Prabhupada also telling that for them it's better to refer to the Adi Daivata because they will not understand the Supreme. So that's why Adi Daivata, as Prabhupada is telling, like where demigods are present, planets are present in his body. But why Prabhupada is telling that neophytes should focus on the Adi Daivata? Prabhuji, I don't understand very well. Please explain. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Mataji, very nice. You've given a lot of good insight, realization. Why not we take maybe some more comment thoughts, then we can discuss little more in depth. Any more thoughts, devotees?
Prabhuji, I actually have a question. My understanding was that this example of the bird in our heart that actually referred to Brahman, the individual like soul within us, right? That is part of of the Paramatma. But do we hear now, and from what I'm reading, that bird is actually Paramatma, which my understanding was the sum total of all the Brahmans within a tree, within grass, within a dog, within man, everything. So can you explain a little bit more, like which one is actually correct?
Both are correct. Because Krishna is all, individually also, he is situated as Brahman, and then as a super soul, he is situated in each and every entity. Let us see. Maybe I'll see if I can pull this. We have seen this few times, maybe 2-3 times. So, devotees, this is what is the creation. Like we have talked about this. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he is here. Garbhodakshaya, And this is one universe, one single universe. And then the Karanadaksha Vishnu is eternally creating more and more universes. This is kind of in line with science also, that there are many, many planets, there are many, many entities, there are many moons, many suns. They're saying it could be in hundreds and thousands. So which kind of coincides with the Vedic, what Krishna is saying. So this is one, right? So the individual Brahman, which is everywhere, throughout this universe, there is Brahman is pervading. This is where all the confusion begins. The lot of different philosophies like Advaita and, Visishta Advaita, Dvaita, and we follow the Achinta Beda, Beda, and so on. So it is true that Krishna is everywhere as a soul, and he is also the what is that? Aham Adir Daivanam is also the source of all the devas here. All this, planetary, and there are devas also in the lower. Also, there are so many different devas and devatas. So here, Swargaloka is there, Maharloka is there, Janaloka is there, Tapaloka is there, even Brahmaloka on the top is there. So Krishna is here as a Brahman, as a Paramatma, and he appears every now and then as Bhagavan also, like it did 5,000 years ago. So as far as Krishna is concerned, all three, they are correct. What Srila Prabhupada is talking about, the Virat Roop or Vishwaroop, is that Krishna is showing this only. He's showing, the entire universe to Arjuna. So this is also part and parcel of the material manifestation, which is also from Krishna only. But Krishna is eternal. Brahman is eternal. See, we are the marginal effect of Krishna's manifestation in this material platform. We are spiritual, which is Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna, but we are also under this material nature entirely from Satyaloka. This entire thing is temporary. It's only a matter of time. As human beings, we may, at this point, we may live up to 100 years, Swargaloka entities can live much longer. They can enjoy a lot more. But again, you cannot go from here to here unless it is sanctioned by Krishna. You have to only come down to again Bhuloka and then again start everything fresh. Either you can go down to even lower based on your future karmas. But what we are trying to do is get out of this. This whole thing is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, which is also under the control of Krishna only. As Brahman, he is in individual entity. As Paramatma, he is in every entity, the Shirodakshaya Vishnu, he enters into all the units, everything. Living, non-living, animal, man, woman, the innards, the tree, everything is there. So that is where all this confusion, how do we understand that if Krishna is everything, the question now is that why not we just think about Brahman and even Parabrahman or Paramatma. Krishna has already explained that he is the Param Brahman of this, which is the super soul, supreme soul. So why cannot we just stop there? Why not, devotees?
I think the Paramatma is very difficult to realize. We already within our heart. We saw in the previous chapter, I think it was 6, where it spoke about Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and you have to go through all that meditation and have a real focus and concentration to realize the Paramatma. So I think that's a very difficult. So the easier path is is the Bhakti Yoga, which we have been repeatedly looking at. That's my understanding.
Haribol Prabhuji, that's very good, Prabhu. But the ultimate understanding, devotees, to my best knowledge, I am very limited, please forgive me, is that whether you call it Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan, they are one and the same entity, though. It is like Raghu Prabhu just spoke, his voice and his body, you cannot differentiate. His body and voice are completely together. I'm just giving us an analogy. So Krishna's energy in the form of Brahman, Krishna's again another superior energy, supreme energy in the form of Paramatma, they are all part and parcel of Krishna only. We cannot say Brahman is separate from Krishna. It's not. That means if we do that, that becomes, Krishna becomes limited. Krishna is everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mattah sarvam pravartate, iti matva bhajante mam, buddha bhava samanvitah. The person who understands that everything comes out of me, he is already very, very enlightened, very elevated. So there cannot be even a single, smallest of the smallest atom. It has to only come from Krishna, whether it is small or big. So again, going back to this Paramatma, to kind of address Bhashwati Mataji's question, the gigantic universal form of the Lord called Adidevata is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as super soul. What Srila Prabhupada is trying to say here is that there are also a lot of followers and religion that says everything is God, which is true. Krishna says in chapter 10 and 11, everything is him. He would go point by point, right? But the question is that he as a Bhagavan is still superior to all those. That is our understanding. Even though it is part and parcel of him, in between Raghu Prabhu and the voice, Raghu Prabhu is the source. Voice comes out of the energy comes out of the energetic. So we are not paying too much attention, rightfully, on the energies, because Krishna has got so many energies. All this creation is all his energy only. So there are many, many philosophies. Many philosophies just stop here. They will say, think about this yourself. There is an energy within you that is the ultimate. You realize that's called some kind of a self-realization. Buddhism, all to my best knowledge, stops here. It doesn't talk about the upper platform, or even this entire thing is temporary, and how there is a supreme personal form of Krishna is there. I wanted to show it somewhere here. Yeah, Krishna is above this, eternal, permanent, Satchit Ananda, above all the Satyaloka. So it all depends. Devotees, we have enough information. What do we want to accept? What do we want to follow? Krishna is clearly said that all these energies are coming only out of him. So why not we just concentrate on the source? That is my thought. What do you all think, devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think that makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, like whether we call it Brahman or Paramatma, it's actually like all part of Bhagwan. So instead of stopping at these, it's better to focus on Bhagwan, ultimately Krishna. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. And he's going to chapter 8. Every verse is very, very important. Chapter 8, that one question, that who should we think? Because Krishna, even Arjuna is very, very confused. Actually, he's very scared after looking at the Vishwarupa, this universal form. He is not able to understand, because he has seen Krishna as Krishna, his friend, as his cousin. But when he saw this, he's completely confused. That is why in chapter 12, he asked Krishna, how shall I worship you? You've shown me so many things. Exactly, that is the question. Because Krishna has got unlimited energies. Are we going to spend our time on all those energies? Whether it could be Brahman, within Brahman, there are so many energies. And then Paramatma. Or we just go to directly Krishna. Krishna himself would say that just come to me, first come to me. Just worship me as I am. At that point, as the two-handed Shama Sundara in the battlefield.
Yes,
And
Prabhu.
then sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, Prabhuji. Yeah, that's what I have also question. And now you said like the two-handed form. So we should contemplate that two-handed form of Lord Krishna, because when, as you said, Arjuna was very much because Krishna did not give him the intelligence. He gave him the eyes, the spiritual eyes to see him, the Virat Rupa, but he did not give him the intelligence. So that's why Arjuna could not be able to take that form. So that's why he said to come back to the regular two-handed form. So how come a neophyte devotee will contemplate on the Virat Purusha, Prabhuji? That was my question. But definitely we should contemplate on the two-handed form of Krishna, the Sham Sundara. So that's my understanding. That's why it's not clear to me.
Yeah, I mean, see, we start always somewhere, right? You start that everything is God, there are different energies, everything is one God. That is how we start. It's like going through middle school, high school, bachelor's degree, master's degree. Then you come to the PhD degree. Just concentrate on the most important thing. We might have read 15 different, subjects in our middle school, but slowly the subject matter reduces, but the depth of those subjects gets increased. And PhD is the highest level where you concentrate the source of Now you understand biology versus the, what they call microbiology or whatever it is. As you go to that specific, whatever is the quality. So that is what is Krishna. But if I understand this correctly, many people also contemplate, they also worship in the Vishwarupa, Virat Rupa. They do, because they consider that, oh, yes, this is, there are so many different forms of the God. They're missing the point that it all comes from Krishna. That is why devotional, the understanding is much higher, because we are not just stopping at whatever we see. We cannot understand just by our eyes, or, it has to have the spiritual knowledge, intelligence, which is given by the Guru. And of course, Krishna is the Jagat Guru. But our Guru and our Guru Maharaj, senior devotees, they will give us the intelligence how to understand Krishna. This entire Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedas are called Darshan Shastra. This is a darshan, meaning it's like looking at God. But somebody has to properly open the temple door. Otherwise, we will be just looking at the outside building. We'll say, what an amazing temple. What is the purpose of the temple unless you go inside and have a darshan of the Lord? So similarly, here, somebody has to explain it. And we are very fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada is explaining all those things. Otherwise, this kind of a purport, you may not find it in other publications of Bhagavad Gita. Baldesva Prabhu, you want to add something, Prabhu?
So, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Pranam. First of all, the Krishna's that form is not a spiritual form, that's the material form totally. Because there is no planet with those thousands hands, thousand faces. And in the Bhagavatam, it clearly says, Monishino Kalpanti. That means this is in the Kalpana, that is in the imagination of the Kalpanti. That is not a spiritual form. So Arjuna did not get any spiritual eyes to this form. This is totally material one. But that is totally, we cannot compare this form with Krishna's Brahman Paramatma Bhagavan. That is the eternal Satchitananda. So, but usually when we talk about the two birds, we usually talk about the Atma Paramatma, one bird and the other bird. And the Paramatma, then somebody can see that as a Brahman or Krishna, but specifically at that point, we talk about the Paramatma as a super other bird who's always watching the Jivatma, the other bird. So what I got from the last conversation, I was a little bit lost in between. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Dear devotees, I'm just looking at, looks like our Nandini Mataji is here. Why not we take her guidance also, her thoughts? If she's able to speak. Okay, maybe.
Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. Sorry, I was also attending to a few other things. What is the exact question? I've been hearing in general, but what is the exact question?
The question is between the super soul as the Virat Rupa, Vishwarupa, and the super soul. What is the difference? Because here Srila Prabhupada is saying the gigantic universal form of the Lord called Adi Daivata is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation, a super soul. So what is the difference between this universal form and super soul? And here, Srila Prabhupada is saying the neophyte is advised to contemplate the universal form, in this fashion. I mean, he's giving that that is, legs are considered to be the lower planets, whose eyes are considered to be the sun and the moon, and whose head is considered as the upper planetary system.
So we have to remember that when Prabhupada wrote this Bhagavad Gita, he especially wrote it around a lot of Westerners were there around him, right? So the Westerners, they have this form of atlas. You can pull it up, the atlas photo. Does anybody know who is Atlas in mythology, in Christian Greek mythology?
Holding the whole planet.
Yes, right? So this is the God is old and God is holding the whole planet. That's their conception of Virat Purusha. Okay, this is their concept of God. That God is carrying this, and God has become old person. This is their concept. Okay. So when we can visualize God as at least he's a person, but when we can visualize, it's not easy for persons super neophyte to think of him as a small manifestation inside our heart or see super soul in other person. But it's very easy for something big, we immediately offer our pranams, something really big. So in that context, we can take that Virat Purusha. A neophyte is advised to contemplate on the universal form. You do not fall in love with universal form, but your awe and reverence is there. Even when Prabhupada gave us the deities and said, do worship the deities, he said, worship them like Narayan, not Radha Krishna. He would not allow Krishna to wear dhoti. He would always have these skirts for Krishna in the beginning, long skirts. So this is the new person is usually in this awe and reverence form, and Virata Purusha, it's very easy to draw that. I think I have partially answered your question to my best of my ability, and the rest of the things that you were saying, I completely agree with them.
Sure,
Is that
Mataji.
okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Very nice, Mataji. Yeah. So, devotees, the question here again, in this Brahman, Paramatma, Super Soul, these are all going to come again and again. But I think we should have a kind of it's a very intricate subject matter, obviously, because there are religions based on these philosophy. Yeah. Whether it is Brahman, as I was just mentioning, I think many of the religions, so in today's, as of today, almost 50% of them are based on the Brahman concept, impersonal philosophy of the God. Even, again, please forgive me if I misquote, even Christianity, the Holy Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, there is not a real definition of Holy Father. He's considered as all-pervading, omnipotent, omnipresent sort of thing. There is not a particular personal form for the Holy Father. So it is, I mean, in many religions, they follow that kind of a principle. Again, as devotees, as very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada and all the other acharyas, we have an ability right now to understand that, yes, Brahman is there. We are not saying Brahman is not there. That is the all-pervading energy. But we want to concentrate on the energetic, the source, Krishna. That way, we have gone through the journey of Brahman, Paramatma, final Bhagavan. If we don't do that, we'll be stuck without knowing Bhagavan. We won't get the Ananda. You may go up to even the self-realization. You can be detached, be very self-realized. You can even reach the spiritual platform, but you will not get the Ananda of the Bhagavan, that pure love. That is what is this entire, this Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is to release that. The Brajvasis had that kind of a love with Krishna mutually, that that won't be available if you're just a self-realized but not understanding Bhagavan. So it is having a Rasagulla, good, but no rasa. How many of us want to take Rasagulla without rasa? We want more juice, right, on the top of it. That makes the Rasagulla everything more nectar. And that is the right thing to do. So same thing, similarly, this concept is going to come again and again. But Krishna would very clearly, I think chapter 12 is going to be again very significant, devotees. Krishna will very nicely explain one by one that to focus on his personal form, if that is not possible, to do seva for such kind of activities, then he would say you can go to the impersonal level, which he has already, even in chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. People who want to do Ashtanga Yoga and understand this, the Supreme Lord, there is an opportunity there also. Very difficult. Chances of not being complete the journey, it's very high. And Krishna is going to say that very clearly in chapter 12.
Hare Krishna, I just want to add one more point here. Prabhupada elaborates on very nice discussion, Prabhu, and I really appreciate your deep wisdom. So Prabhupada in different places in Bhagavatam says something about pantheons. These are people who believe in multiple gods, and that's Hindus can come under that, and a lot of Greek people also believe in multiple gods. So when we look at the Virat Purusha for the neophytes, we see sun and moon, which not as different demigods, but as eyes of Krishna, which also again stated in Bhagavad Gita. Then, it's very useful to establish some context there, some one God concept there. So we are not believing in different demigods, like sun and moon are not independent demigods. And a lot of time people worship sun god. Lot of yogis, Surya Namaskar, they tend to worship sun gods later. So when we look that they are in the context of Krishna, so Krishna also says in 15th chapter, sun and moon are my eyes, or some other chapter, 7th or 10th, sun and moon are my eyes. So when we can relate to Krishna like that, if we start going from polytheism to monotheism, and so that is also another aspect. Hare Krishna. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Very nice, Mataji. Yeah. Dear devotees, there are definitely, it's especially our Vedas are quite extensive. That can sometimes, why it is quite extensive is because Krishna is infinite, is unlimited. So the Shastras, the Acharyas have tried to explain that as much as possible. The 18 Puranas, if you look at the Vedas, the 4 Vedas and the 108 Upanishad, they do not talk about a particular form. And Bhagavad Gita is considered as the 5th Veda, where Bhagavan himself comes and talks about his personal form and quality. That's very important. Upanishad did not do that. The Vedas, 4 Vedas did not do it. Those are all mantras, but not glorifying the Lord himself in a personal form. But Krishna here comes and completes the knowledge. So even in the Purana, there is little bit of, it's not conflicting at all. It is, for example, out of this 18, the 6 Purana, they glorify Krishna, Vishnu. 6 glorifies Brahma, and 6 glorifies Shiva. The Matsya avatar, one of very prominent avatars of Krishna, even this Matsya Purana, it talks both Vishnu and Shiva. So this can add up to a lot more confusion, whether it is Shiva or Brahma, or shall I worship Kartikeya. But these are all the things Krishna is going to explain in chapter 10 and 11 very detailed. That is everything, he is the source. Now again, there could be some confusion. He is saying, I am Kartikeya. So somebody might say, then why not I just worship Kartikeya? Again, we got to come back to this philosophy. Why don't you go to the source? He is the source. Or you want to be just happy with his energies, right? Because he has got so many, he's everything. He's also the Ganges, he's also the Yamuna. Can we worship Yamuna? Yes, definitely. Yamuna is a great devotee. Ganges is a great devotee, no issue about that. But still, these are all part and parcel of energies of Krishna. Why not we just worship Krishna? That's why his ultimate instruction in Bhagavad Gita is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. These are all various dharmas, various instruction, various philosophies have been explained. In fact, they are not contradicted because he's so infinite, unlimited. They are all giving the details of his from different angles. But he says, keep those aside and just surrender to me. I will take care of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhava. No, not that. What is it? Sarva dharman parityajya. Mam ekam sharanam vaja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Moksha isame masacha. Moksha. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord who can liberate us. We really, devotees are not even asking for moksha. Devotees are asking for, at least give me the remembrance to think about you and serve you. So devotees, any more question? Pavan Prabhu, why don't you say something, Prabhu? You know a lot.
Hari Bol Prabhuji. I am just a beginner, Prabhuji. I am like 1 month old in this process. But I think what I understood from the purport is like the all Lord is Lord, the Krishna consciousness is infinite. And sometimes for regular people like us, infinity might not be understandable or we don't know how to translate it. So Sri Prabhupada is saying that you have all these options to choose of forms of Krishna, whichever form you can relate to, you can choose that and be in that conscious state. So I think what I get the gist out of it is there are multiple options. Choose what option works for you and stay in the Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, that is one way of looking at things. But the Bhagavad Gita's main, the essence, Prabhu, ultimately, is that everything comes from Krishna. Is the cause of all causes. That we have to just understand. Once if we, clear up our mind, our thinking, our philosophy, that Sarva Karana Karanam, that he is the cause. From him, everything comes. Now, as you said, if after knowing that, why should we even go to other philosophies? If your mind is 100% convinced that everything comes from Krishna, just pray to Krishna. That's what Krishna is saying. That surrender to me. Mam ekam sharanam vaja.
Correct. I mean, infinity, right? Infinity is that. Basically, everything from end to end, whereas there is no end to it, it is all Krishna.
So, in that case, this can be interpreted in many ways. Somebody might say, then why not I just choose one of the components of the infinity? It's also Krishna. That's true. But Krishna is saying to understand him as his original form, as Krishna. And then his energy, unlimited energies are also there. So we will respect every energies. We are not going to do anything. We are going to only respect them. We are going to glorify Ganges. We are going to glorify, all his creation. That's all good. But do we accept as the Supreme Lord? That's what is our ultimate purpose. When we leave our body, how many forms or how many energies are we going to remember? Or are we just going to remember Krishna? He's going to explain that also in the following verses. Very important, devotees. Arjuna is asking, Kale, that means during the time of our leaving our body, how are we going to think? What will we think? Infinite? It is a missed opportunity, right, Prabhu? When we know there is Krishna, is the source, we should just think about Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, very true. I
Does it
also
make
heard in one of the lectures, they said that we only have one man, right? So like there's room for one. And instead of like then focusing on like so many different things, if we just think about Krishna, then it's not easy, but comparatively it is easier to remember him at the time of death than if we have like so many different forms. It's better to connect with one and just focus on that. Just wanted to share.
Yeah, at the same time, devotees, this is not a matter of convenience that I cannot remember 10,000 gods, so I'll just remember. No, Krishna is the source. We should, if you're convinced, we don't have to really think about anything else. Right? We are not thinking about Krishna because he is easy to remember. Not like that. That is the right way to remember because he's already said. He's the Adi Daivatam. He is the source of all Daivams. He is the Adibhuta. He is the Adi Yajna. So why not we just think about Krishna instead of thinking about all the Adi Daivas? Why do we have to do that? That's the question, devotee. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing this as a matter of convenience or I find it easy to, I don't want to think about the 999 different Daivas. No, it's not like that. It is the only way to understand the supreme entity, which is Krishna.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you for explaining. Hare Krishna.
Okay, who else want to say something? Pawan Prabhu, Sushilpa Mataji. Time is already 9.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please pray for my husband, Venkat Prabhu. He's in the hospital. I have admitted him in the emergency. He tested COVID for positive.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Where is he now?
He's in Baycare Emergency St. Joseph Hospital in South Tampa. And he had just discomfort. And I thought something went wrong with his heart and also discomfort with the stomach. I didn't expect he had COVID symptoms and he's having so much of discomfort in the heart. But I don't know why he's having the COVID symptoms. Does not have a discomfort in the heart, but I don't know. They still did not check troponin and all that, Prabhuji. And he started crying and almost fainted. And Veena Mataji was helping us. And we went for some event, maybe in that crowd. This is the first time he got COVID. I don't know what to say, Prabhu. And he started crying very badly. And I thought, Veena Mataji was driving us the car to the hospital, to the emergency. And not Kartik Prabhuji, Veena Mataji. There's another Veena Mataji, right, Prabhu?
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes. We will, Mataji, we will pray for Venkat Prabhu. You're all great devotees. Sure. At the end of this, we are going to end very soon. We'll definitely pray for him. We will chant 310 Mahamantra for him. Okay, devotees, shall we do that?
Definitely, Prabhuji.
Also, Mataji, if you need any help, please let us know. I am available. Please do reach out to me or anybody. I am generally available to help out.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama.
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama.
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna.
Uh,
Hare
Dear devotees, especially Shalini Mataji, and this next verse, which is 8:5, will explain everything. Maybe Pavan Prabhu also. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, this explains everything. Krishna is saying there is
Krishna
no
Hare
need
Krishna.
to think about.
No one need to know. No need to.
So devotees, we shall conclude here because I believe there is another meeting right now. So we shall meet tomorrow. We'll discuss more. We'll be talking about 8:5, which is also very important. Okay. Vanchakalpatrabhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. ISKCON Tampa
Hare
Sankirtan ki jai.
Okay.
ISKCON Tampa Bhagavad Gita study ki jai.
Yes,
Dandavat
Sridhama
Pranam,
Prabhuji, thank you
Prabhuji.
so much
Hare
for
Krishna.
chanting for my Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hari
Thank you.
Bol.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Hari Bol.